Welcome to the next episode of Power Zoom podcast. I am Anand Kulkarni. I am the co-founder of Power Zoom Digital Solutions. We are an AI first, remote first Microsoft Power Platform digital solutions and services company. We are focused on harnessing the intelligence of the most productive AI engineers who are remote first, and we use reuse first approach for solution components. We have over here with us Mr. Parag Pande. He is the managing partner for Antal International. Parag, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, why not? Sure. Thank you, Anand, for inviting me for this podcast. I'm happy to, share my views, knowledge. I come from IT background basically. I mean, people have a question that how come this IT person is getting into the recruitment space? The simple answer to that is because of my own passion and interest, right?
Wonderful.
So after spending 25 years in IT on various roles, starting with software developer, by the time I decided to quit from the corporate list, I was handling insurance portfolio for one of the services organizations.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right, and from last couple of years, I'm associated with Antal, wherein I picked up the recruitment space in the IT,
Wonderful.
specialized in IT, I would say. Talking about Antal has an existence of more than 30 years, and I mean, it's a global presence basically across major geographies like UK, Europe, uh, Middle East, India,
Mhm.
Africa,
Mhm.
and we are specialized in mid to senior level roles across multiple functions. Like it started with finance, sales and marketing, operations, but sky's the limit. I mean, there are multiple functions and multiple offices. So having a presence of global presence of across these geographies, I would say
Mhm.
we have close to around 130 physical office locations across
Awesome.
these locations, which is, as I mentioned, across the geographies. And so far, I would say just a high level figure, 20,000 plus, 20K plus figures, you can take it as we are placed somewhere mid to senior level, executives across organizations, right? And just to give you little figures, some more figures around it, there are 200 plus recruiters across cycle who are working across multiple cities. In India, we have a presence of, I mean, you name all major cities and we have office there.
Awesome.
And there are close to around 35 plus offices which are running. So across India. So that's in brief about it.
Excellent. Excellent. So nice to have you over here, Parag.
Sure.
And
Okay.
I think the today's topic, right, is related to career prospects.
Yeah.
And there is a trend that you are seeing and we are also seeing in the market, and we are probably going to look into that. So I have a question for you related to that trend.
Sure.
So we'll start with that. So you have been working with mid and senior level positions, especially the CIOs and the teams that the CIOs are leading.
Right.
What do you see are the global priorities of CIO teams from your perspective in terms of demand that you see in the market?
Absolutely. It's a very valid question. And you will go, this is, when you hear some figures, I would like to share some statistics as well,
Okay.
which will blow your mind.
Wow.
Just talking about the higher priorities as for CIOs, I think primarily there are two things,
Okay.
which every CIO is more concerned about.
Mhm.
One is the faster innovation.
Okay.
So the whole world is moving at a very faster pace.
Absolutely.
So innovation is is a key thing, right?
Absolutely.
To grab the market.
Absolutely.
And second is while doing this, your productivity improvisation is very, very important.
Excellent.
So that's another factor or another key priority for CIOs. Now, let me just share some facts about what's really happening, based on the research we have done so far. You won't believe that there are 92% of the CIOs, okay, who are expecting this, that the AI will be implemented within the organizations by 2025.
Wow, 92%.
92% CIOs. All right. And obviously, I mean, this research we have by doing this research, some the stuff which has come from the internet and some portals, that has come handy for us as well, especially Gartner report.
Okay.
And just to give you a little perspective of it, right now, AI has become a mainstream in every business
Correct.
nowadays, right? Be it
Correct.
IT or non-IT.
Correct.
There are close to around 61% of the organizations, I would say,
Mhm.
that who have assigned the AI teams and accountability to the CIOs.
Wow.
Getting it? So
Wow.
we can imagine the kind of the race and the pace which is
Wow.
currently going in the market, right? With
Wow,
respect
that's
to AI
huge.
and the considering the CIO's priorities as of today.
That is really huge.
So this is one thing. Apart from that, you would also like to understand, or maybe you would like to know that, uh, looking at the disruptive technology, which is AI as of today, right?
Mhm.
Who believes in that? So I would say roughly 21% of the CIOs which we have interviewed believe that the AI is going to be the disruptive
Wow.
technology.
Awesome. So AI is the way.
AI is the way.
Okay.
So there's I mean you can't run away with it. And
Excellent.
that's the reality of the market today, and that's how the things are happening. Right?
Awesome.
So let me put a question to you on top of
Okay.
this now. Okay.
All right.
So you have heard right what's happening real in the market, what CIOs are really expecting,
Yes.
how the priorities are getting
Yes.
switched. Um, Looking at this, right, and as you lead the technology and you're into solutions and services providing provider being a provider for Power Platform, I would
Yes.
say. So how do you look at it? I mean, uh, expectations is one part, but then what's your perspective from the technology standpoint on this?
Okay, thank you so
As
much.
you are leading that front.
Thank you for this question. I think you have tapped into a question which sort of was the reason for starting our organization Power Zoo.
Okay.
So if you see, we also saw a very similar kind of a trend, and we also digged into the how part of it.
I see.
So CIOs are focusing on, as you rightly said, CIOs are focusing on faster innovation, improving productivity, but how, right? And what we saw is that the way in which CIOs and most of the teams are doing it is by adopting a technology, which is a very ubiquitous technology, which is there everywhere. It is a combination of AI and low code. And the name of that technology is Microsoft Power Platform. So as you know, right, Power Zoom is fully 100% focused on Microsoft Power Platform. And we were actually amazed when we did our research. We were amazed that not only does this give this ability to improve the productivity for the end users, one of the reports from Forrester says that the end users or the workers, their productivity improves by 25% by merely using Power Platform solution. Power Platform has embedded AI. It is full of co-pilots, right? Microsoft these days, when you say Microsoft, it is only co-pilot. Absolutely. Right? The second word that comes after Microsoft is co-pilot, which is nothing but the AI. Right. And then what we saw is that the development cost, overall development cost, actually can be reduced by 74%. I see. I am not saying that you are reducing it to 74%. I am saying that it can be reduced by 74%. Right? So all these statistics are there. And we saw that there is a huge amount of adoption of this technology because of this. It has multiple technologies in it. It has AI Builder, it has Copilot Studio, it has Power Apps, Power Pages, Dataverse, Power BI, Power Automate, Power FX, right? All of this is under the umbrella of Microsoft Power Platform. Right. And I have seen, at least from our company perspective, we have seen a huge adoption. So when we checked with Microsoft, they told that from 2023 to 2024, the number of users that are using Microsoft Power Platform has actually increased from 33 million over the world, from 33 to 48 million. Okay, that's a huge change. And Charles Lamanna, who heads the entire business applications and the Copilot, he says that there are around 500 million plus new applications that are going to be developed with Power Platform. Now, this number is equivalent to the total number of applications that are developed all over the world in last 48 years. So
Wow.
what was developed in last 48 years is going to be developed in next 4.8 years approximately.
My goodness.
So, but so there is a demand, right? And we see the demand. But from your perspective, because you are dealing with resources, you are dealing with the market,
Right.
what is your view, Parag, in terms of how enabled the CIO teams, the hiring teams over there to fulfill this demand? How it is playing out in the world? What are the demand patterns that you see on this?
Right, right. It's a valid question, and I would like to share some figures again, which will again you will see that the demand and supply gap is so skewed that it's a very big question as of today that how do we meet this gap?
Okay.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, now obviously while doing this research, I mean LinkedIn's what do you call the insights tool, which is provided by LinkedIn, has come very handy for us. I
Okay.
mean, this has helped us to derive some numbers out.
Okay.
So if you refer, if you refer India geography, for example, because now as we are based in India, we're talking about our power platform. So let's talk about India figures to start. So as of today, you would see that hardly just around 22K roughly people, 22K plus professionals are available who are currently working on Power Zoom platform, sorry, Power platform. Okay. Right? So obviously when you say Power platform, again, as you explained, there are multiple
Different
components to it, right? So somebody might be working for any one particular component.
Correct.
But this is a overall figure, right? And if you look at the churning, right, of how people are moving from this place to, I mean, this one job to another job, roughly around 5K people have seen the churn, or 5K plus, I would say.
So there is a 25% churn. So.
Absolutely correct. That will be roughly come to that. But if you look at the job post or the requirements, right, which are getting posted, the figure is close to around 58K.
Wow.
So you can imagine the demand of 58K versus the professionals available working in this industry for close to around 22K.
Wow.
Close to 3 times as of now,
Absolutely.
the demand which you see as of today, right?
Absolutely.
And so this is little about India. Now we have done the similar research. I mean, we have checked the same figures on other geographies as well.
Okay.
Like if you talk about Europe and US and Canada. So let's talk about US and Canada. So obviously the number is high as far as the professionals are concerned, who are professionals in this area. It's close to around 54K. Okay. Right. And if you see the churning, is around 8,000 somewhere. Okay. 8,000 plus. Okay. And again, if you refer the job post or the job requirements as of today, it's 227K plus. Wow. 227K plus. So if you compare this with the professionals available, right? So it's more than 4 times. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So that's about US and Canada. So Europe again is not exception. It follows the more or less the same similar trend there. Right? So close to around in Europe we have 43 plus 43K plus I would say professionals available which we could see. Okay. And then again the churning is close to around 9,000, which is more or less close to US. And again the job post similar to US I would say, but which is around 247K. Wow. So in fact, we could see a little figure, increased in as far as the job post requirements are concerned in Europe. Wow. 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 So almost 6 times. Absolutely. So looking at these figures, you can imagine the requirement, the demand versus the supplies of today in market, right? So the graph is very skewed. Wow. There's too much gap there. Amazing. Now, just to give you a high level perspective on this, right? So there are close to around 500, maybe 25 or 30K power platform engineers, I would say, which are needed as of today in next 5 years, right? As per today's, sorry, I mean, in couple of years, I would say. Right. While today there's a hardly existence of 120K. So you can imagine the demand, which is so much a high demand there. Yeah. versus the kind of supply we have.
Almost 4 times more engineers are needed than they are there.
Absolutely. So now see, I mean, I've given you perspective from the from resourcing perspective, what is the available in the market today, right? Being a recruiter.
Yes.
And this is always a question which always comes in my mind, right? So obviously we don't have engineering colleges and in educational institutes who will keep producing, a bulk of engineers who can straight away deployed in this area, right? So obviously there has to be some solution.
Correct.
Now I have a question to you. Now with respect to, because you're heading the technology,
Yes.
as you also understand this space
Yes.
well,
Yes.
how would you meet this demand, this gap? Are there any other ways where you think probably this can be met, or maybe to an extent it can be achieved? I don't know if everything can be achieved at one go, but obviously there has to be some way and which we can implement.
No, great question. Great question. Thank you so much, Parag, for this question. I think, I mean, these are eye-popping numbers. And if there are so many millions of apps that are going to be developed, probably a lot more people are going to be needed, right?
Absolutely.
So I think there is the learning curve, right? So I think the whole point over here is if the supply is less than demand, that means the people will have to move from some other technology or some other work that they are doing to this.
Absolutely.
Right. So I see that also another good thing about Power Platform as a technology is that the work can be done in a remote first fashion. And you can have people work directly on the cloud. They can work from their own home.
Right.
They can bring their own device and they can do the work.
Fantastic.
So that actually makes the entry barrier smaller,
Absolutely.
right, for people to come. Having said that, I think people who are going to come in Power Platform will have to first and foremost understand that there is something called as Power Platform.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think the first thing that people probably would have to do is to understand the Power Platform career opportunities. And who better than someone like you, right? They may want to connect with Antal International and so on and so forth, right? People who have the view to basically get understanding of this kind of a requirement, right? The eye-popping numbers and the mind-boggling numbers that you talked. I think after that there are people, as you rightly said, you also talked about multiple technologies that are there. And when we put those numbers, for example, you gave a number for US, a number for India, that's an amalgamation of multiple technologies.
Absolutely.
So if somebody is working in Power BI, may not work in Power Apps, or may not know about Power Pages, or may not have an understanding of Power Automate. Somebody who is working in Power FX may not understand Power Pages. So what would happen is that the demand that is coming or the requirement that is coming is for people who are full stack.
Correct.
So I think the second part would be for all of these people to become full stack.
Agree.
When they become full stack, the most important part of that stack is going to be AI, right? Because as we talked about the CIO priorities, AI is going to be part of all these applications, right? So we will have to have Copilot Studio and AI Builder, which are part. So the first thing is getting introduced to the Power Platform opportunity. The second thing is to basically become full stack. They may become good in one or two technologies, but they have to broadly understand the multiple technologies. And from the perspective of enterprise, because lots of enterprises are going to adopt it, right? If this 500 million plus applications are created, they are going to be created in large enterprises.
Right.
For them, it is extremely important that whatever solutions are created, they are having the right kind of architecture. So I would suggest that people should understand the well-architected framework from Power Platform. In fact, as a community service, Power Zoom has started a Microsoft community.
Interesting.
And that Microsoft community is called as Power Stackers.
I see.
And we provide these kinds of guidance, and not only from within our company, but within the community. So there are so many Microsoft most valuable professionals. There are people from Microsoft themselves. There are different people who are having experience in the technology. They come together and they do this work.
Great.
So we provide power stackers as this one. So I think as part of this podcast, I would take this opportunity and to the audience as well that the link to the this Microsoft community will be there in the comments, and everybody can join that community either to become a Power Platform engineer or to help others become Power Platform engineers. So, from your perspective, also, I would like to understand from you, what would you suggest to the people, because you are working on recruitment. There are lots of people, the mid level people, senior level people, who will keep on coming to Antal International. And what would be your suggestion to them, Parag?
Absolutely. So that's a good question. Now, two things I would like to say here. One thing which I would like to reiterate as what you said. Full stack is the need of the market. And as you said, like Microsoft Power Platform, I mean, this is a harsh reality that many people know that there are multiple components involved as part of Power Platform. Mostly people know is more about Power Apps or Power BI.
Correct.
But the reality is different, right?
Correct.
And there are many components involved
Correct.
and applications and sub applications.
Correct.
So full stack is the key.
Correct.
So I would say those who are working on any particular one element, like say for example Power BI,
Correct.
they should come up and try to learn and adopt multiple technologies within Power Platform. So I would suggest Power Zoom is the right place for them.
Thank you.
Because remote working is the one which is the need of an hour and which
Correct.
people expect, right?
Correct.
So which you are addressing at the very first place. So that's where I recommend Power Zoom. Second thing is being a full stack is one thing. Second is those who would like to um, switch to Power Zoom platform. Power Platform, right? I would suggest if there some people who are probably want to switch their career, they're not happy with the current set of technologies where they are working, or they need a change, right? I think this is a very good platform altogether, where I'm sure they'll get a good exposure. And looking at the demand, what we discussed so far, it's there's no end to it, right? So those are the two things which I would like to say. And obviously, I would recommend anyone who's reaching out to me to Antel as a candidate to Antel International with respect to Power Platform. I think Power Zoom and we as Antel International, we both can work hand in hand and see what best we can provide to the market.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Parag, to come over here and be part of the Power Zoom podcast. And we would keep talking to each other. And I think there are a lot of things that are there, which the people who are in the market right now looking to change their career, they can connect with Anand International and understand the different services and make their career better. Thank you so much. See you again. Thank
It's
you
my
so much.
pleasure. Thank you so much. Yeah.